Oh my goodness. I don't even know what's happening right now. It is 8 o'clock here in Vegas, and fireworks have been going off for hours already.
Yeah.
Hours
Like
already.
3 or 4 hours at least.
And we just had like a really long string of pa 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 pa.
It's like they can't possibly be doing some finale because they haven't even started a specific fireworks show yet. But
Well,
anywho.
and then you said, "Oh, we're going early so that when we get off the show, we'll ring in the new year with the East Coast, and when we get off the show, we'll get in bed." No, because you know what's going to happen is at midnight, especially because we just had a new casino open up like 5 minutes from here. At
like a
midnight,
mile
there
away.
really will be a huge firework explosionaire. That's a word, you know.
It is.
Yeah. And the dogs are going to go completely nuts. So I don't know what world you're living in that you think you're going to sleep early and you're going to be totally fine.
I don't know. All right. It looks like we've got about 25 people here watching with us so far. So thanks for popping in and hanging out with us on the last day of 2023.
Oh boy, yeah. So it's 8 o'clock here. I don't know if you guys can hear those at all. Probably not. But it's 8 o'clock here. We'll probably be on with you guys for a couple hours. So we'll probably be getting off like around 10 or so our time. And apparently we'll just be hearing fireworks and stuff. So you guys can hang out as long as you would like. But it's been a while. It's been like
December 2nd was the last live we
Really?
did. Yeah.
That's crazy. Sorry, guys. We've been doing lots of stuff. Went on a cruise in the holidays. Vicky, you were sick for 511 billion years.
Yeah, dudes, I'm telling you.
Dudes.
Try not to get whatever this flu is that's happening this year because it was brutal and I'm still recovering. 2 weeks and counting. And I am not 100% myself. It was just in the last few days that I actually have left the house and hung
Yeah.
out. So
I only got sick for like I had one day where I felt like a truck had run over me. But otherwise, I was pretty much fine.
I was
Which
dying.
seems to be the norm the last, I don't know, 5 times we've had sickness in the household.
It's true.
And I always assume I'm going to get it. You know, people always say, like, oh, I'm staying away from my significant other. And I'm always like, if you got it, I probably already have it. So,
Yep.
or at least have been exposed to it. So, I don't know. Maybe
Well,
that's-
I'm just grateful that Katie did not get anywhere near as sick as I did because somebody had to take care of my sick ass. And I am a whiny sick person. I fully admit it. I am a whiny sick person. I hate being sick. I mean, nobody likes being sick, right? But I really hate being sick and not being able to feel like myself. I'm okay with going to bed for a couple of days if you feel crappy. I get it. But usually it's like 2 days.
Well, she also
2
is
weeks is
somebody,
a lot.
she wants somebody there to witness her pain.
Yes, you need to see my sickness.
Right, so she wants me to be with her all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas if I get really sick, I just kind of want to be left alone. Like I don't need anybody near me. And it was funny because she was going to bed like so early every night, like 7:30, 8 o'clock. And like the first night when she went to bed that early, I said something about going back downstairs to hang out with the dogs, and she looked so disappointed. And I'm like, okay, listen, here's where I draw the line. I'm not gonna be lying in bed at 7:30 because it's not like I can watch
You don't
TV.
know.
Like she's a pretty light sleeper. I'm like, I can't do it. I gotta go ahead. The dogs need to like have some sort of interaction with one of their moms.
That's true.
But she made it through. All right, so they want to know what we're drinking. What are you drinking, Victoria?
I am drinking very fancy the remainder of our very fancy bottle of Dom Perignon.
Now, this is not a normal beverage of ours, but you could see.
This was a gift to us on our wedding day from Clara and Amanda at List Perfectly. They're friends of ours, as most of you guys know. And they had this beautiful bottle made and engraved with our wedding date last year. And we were going to have it on our anniversary, which was December 17th.
Which is
just
the
passed.
tradition.
Which is the tradition. But I was sick as a dog still. So we didn't really do a lot. That was the day we
No.
came home from the cruise,
Yes,
honestly.
here's why. Our cruise was from the 10th to the 17th. So we couldn't have it on the 17th because that was a travel day, so we wouldn't have been able to have it with us. Like it wasn't feasible. And we got home after midnight. And so we actually and then Vicky got sick. And so we actually opened it night
Two
before
nights ago.
last, and had some, and then this is what's left over, so Vicky's gonna drink it.
And I'm drinking it in my very fancy Tiffany champagne glasses that were also, they came with the bottle of Dom as a gift from Clara and Amanda at List Perfectly. So beautiful wedding gift.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, if you happen to be watching or if you watch it on repeat. We appreciate the gift. And
I'm letting
it's
Vicky.
quite delicious.
Yep.
I mean, we all know, those of you that watch our channel know anyway, I love me some champagne. Especially some mimosas. I am not ruining a $200 bottle of champagne with orange juice. I'm not that trashy. I can be trashy, don't get me wrong. I drink $10 champagne usually. However, I am going to, savor this one. It's a nice one. Because I will never buy myself champagne that's $200. I am way too cheap for that.
And I'm not a big champagne drinker. Like, I like it fine enough. But we had it the other night, and then I figured I'd save the rest for her. So I am drinking Carlsberg Elephant Pilsner, which I think is quite tasty. It's a tasty little beer. Let's see, we've got...
Kara's got her shampongs ready.
Yep.
Who else is in here?
Yeah, our dogs are actually doing okay at the moment. I probably jinxed it, but they've been barking a lot on and off, but hopefully they'll be able to control themselves.
Hello, Rita. And Aretha Franklin. I'm never going to not laugh at your screen name. God, I love it. Makes me laugh every time. It's kind of the best.
And a little happy new year to you, Rita, as well. Listen, also, guys, I just wanted to say I did not do a daily vlog for the cruise. Pretty much the first day I was like already like, just like, I don't want to, you'd be surprised like how much it takes to like be able to have a 15-20 minute video. You're constantly throughout the day having to be like, okay, I gotta shoot this, I gotta shoot that. And I just decided I didn't want to do that this time. So I did film a lot of stuff. There is going to be a video, I promise.
It'll be like a compilation video.
I filmed a lot, and then also Danica filmed a lot, and so I need to go through the stuff that she sent me and see how I can fit it in there. But there will be a video of our anniversary cruise. Don't worry.
Our anniversary cruise that we brought our friend Danica on. But man,
I mean, she had her own cabin.
It's true. She did. And she got mad because we went to bed early a lot. And she was like, she's a night owl and neither one of us are. So it was like she would want to hang out and go to the club and dance at night. And we're like, okay, it's 11 o'clock. We're going to go to bed now.
We're like, bye.
Night. Good night.
Yeah. Hey, Barry, what's up?
Hey, Barry. But we had a great time. I will say the coming back from the cruise and getting sick. And then we hit that awful freak Florida East Coast weather thing while we were on our cruise, and our cruise was out of Miami and it was up and down the eastern seaboard. So we had some really shitty weather for this cruise. It was unfortunate. We had a 7-day cruise and 4 of those days was rainy and cold and overcast and gross and rocky on the sea. But at least we had 2.5 of our days of the 3 days at ports were beautiful. Dominican Republic was beautiful. Puerto Rico was beautiful, even though it rained for half of the day. It was still beautiful for a good portion of it.
And there were cats everywhere. It was awesome.
And where else did we go?
St. Martin was awesome.
St. Martin was beautiful.
We actually rented a car, so we got to drive around the island on our own, which was really fun. Highly recommend. I probably still would have wanted to try it, even if I had to drive on the wrong side of the road. But luckily, that was not the case. And it was really fun and adventurous to be able to cruise around and check stuff out.
Yeah, so we did it. We had a really good time in spite of crappy weather. It was pretty stir crazy by the end of the day, and then we were delayed by 9 hours in getting off of the ship because of the storms. The ship couldn't pull into the port. We missed our flights. We all had to scramble to get secondary flights. It was kind of not a great way to end the trip, but we made the best of it.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, so this is our very special After Dark Sunday Live. We're doing a little nighttime version here. And so we figured what we're going to do is go over 2023, look at our numbers. We're still doing 3 parts to the show. Now, the first part, looking at our numbers, we're doing a little bit differently. We're not breaking out any of the costs or anything like that because that's just too much work and we're not willing to do it. So
it's too much work for us to go back and try to do it for the entire year.
And it's not really going to be like entirely accurate. Like we've told you before, we just kind of plug in. It's very basic, rudimentary, like the fees, stuff like that. But like, we're not going to know what our real cost of goods are, and we're not going to sit down and do a real accounting of our whole year. And we don't do that anyway. We give you guys kind of a rough estimate. It doesn't take into account a lot of our costs. And so we're really just going to go over our gross numbers for all of our platforms so we can look at that. But if you watch our show regularly, you kind of have an idea of like what we, where our cost of goods
My
kind of come
cost
out.
of goods are about 10%.
Yeah.
If or less.
And so we're going to look at that. And then the middle part of our show, we're going to look at kind of our favorite sales over the last year. One thing to note, though, is that it is not easy to, you can only go 90 days back. Actually, you can go further back. You can go back, sort of, but it's very difficult. So for eBay, really, it's just the last 90 days. And then the other platforms, at least for me, I went back over the whole year. And
Yeah, I did too.
and looked at that. So, so as far as eBay,
Trish.
as far as eBay goes, what's up, Trish? As far as eBay goes, it's not going back for the whole year. It's just the last 90 days. I have quite a few that are like ones that were since our last show.
Me
So you
too.
guys haven't heard about. Yeah, we had some
too.
good sales. And then the last part of our show, we are going to kind of talk about like what we've accomplished this year or haven't accomplished, and what our goals and our hopes are for next year. When we get to our numbers, you're going to see, especially for me, I had a very disappointing year of sales. But when we get to the third part of the show, I'll tell you now, I am actually excited and hopeful for 2024. I think we got some plans in place, each of us, for our businesses. So I'm not feeling disappointed. I feel more like there's a lot of opportunity for big growth. So should we go ahead and start the show? What do you think? Hello, everybody. We got 57 people here watching.
We got I'm sorry.
I mean,
all that
obviously it's gonna be a
tells
lot.
us is that clearly a lot of our friends do nothing on New Year's Eve because they're old like us.
Well, I mean, who wants to go out on New Year's Eve? Come on.
In Vegas, here's the thing. So a lot of you guys know our friend Dom, right? Dom, who is the MC at the
Remix.
Boss Reseller Remix every year. Dom Hollins. She's actually here in town. She's coming to stay with us for the next couple of days. She's actually here partying with some friends. She's like, I want to do New Year's Eve in Las Vegas. It's iconic. The first time probably will be the last time. So she's out doing God knows what. She's like, you guys can come, totally come and hang out with my friends.
No.
They're totally chill. We're like, yeah, no.
There's nothing chill about going to
have fun.
Area 15 for New Year's Eve in Vegas. There's nothing chill about that. It's going to be like lots of loud music and ridiculousness. No, thank you. But we're picking her up tomorrow, and she's staying with us for a few days. So that'll be fun. Hopefully get some good sleep beforehand.
We've got Jill in the chat. Trish is there, and I believe Trish is with Diane and Julie, downtown Julie Brown and Chris Brown. We're totally jealous. Everybody's hanging out without us. It's really not allowed. And hello.
Hello.
Where was my invite?
They told me they didn't want you there. Sorry.
Oh, that's true.
Sorry about it. Okay, let's go ahead and start looking at numbers. Now, I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't know, like, if you guys remember it all. I don't know how much you actually paid attention, but we did a year review at the end of last year as well as the year before. And I know for last year,
I didn't even look at how bad
I
the
didn't
difference
go.
was.
I didn't go look, but I know what the difference is. But I was gonna say, last year we felt like, oh, it'd been like this really disappointing year. It'd been like a really hard year. But then once we pulled our numbers, we realized that because we'd added platforms and added some other avenues of income, we actually came really close to matching the previous year. Do you remember that? Does that sound familiar now?
Yes,
So
vaguely.
I remember for me last year, I did like overall all of my different streams of income. I think my gross hit like close to 140. And for me, like, I was like, oh my gosh, how'd that happen? But it was because I'd added platforms. I did a bunch on Whatnot. And so I was able to pull it off even by working harder. And even though my eBay sales did go down from the previous year. So I was like, okay, that's fine. This year has been abysmal for me, abysmal. Like, just, and the thing is that we moved here, like a year and a half ago, and our cost of living, as far as like our monthly costs, housing costs, doubled. Okay, and so for our costs to double, and then plus like right now,
All the utilities have doubled.
in the last like 6 months or so, our gas, our electricity, our internet, everything it's crazy how much it is, how much things have gone up, just utilities in the Vegas area. And so to have like your sales go down so far and then have your costs like seem like they're always going up, it can be kind of scary. So let's go ahead and look at our numbers here. But again, at the end of the show, we're going to get into what we're doing about this and how things are going to change. I'm sorry this is kind of small. Let me, I got to actually share it. Okay, this is changed a little bit, the way this is set up. Okay, there we go. Sorry, this is a little bit small. First of all, my eBay sales. I remember like a couple of years ago, like finally hitting $100,000 gross on eBay and being so excited about it. And then last year, no F bombs. We're being our new selves tonight.
I am not going to be a new self.
Well, let's limit the F bombs. How about that, please? Anyway, so my eBay sales just awful, terrible, horrible. Guys, for me, this is really bad. Again, when you're like, you have this trajectory that you're following and your sales are getting better year over year, and then to have them drop so much, it's tough. And it's it very much is a motivation killer. Mm-hmm. Now my Etsy sales, they're actually like very slightly up or about the same as last year. So my Etsy didn't really move last year. I've had better years on Etsy, but from last year, it's about the same. Now, Poshmark is a new platform for me. I've only been on it for half the year. So to have like an added $4,500, that makes me happy. Now, Grailed is another platform that has absolutely died. I did like triple this last year on Grailed. So I don't know what has happened with Grailed, what changes they've made that have caused this to happen. If it's because there's all these other platforms, I don't really know. But Grailed has really dropped off. Depop is another one that I've only been on it for the last 6 months. So between Depop and Poshmark, I mean, my numbers could have been like another 10,000 at least this year if I had been on it the entire year. So that's kind of the breakdown. So my total gross sales across all my platforms, $77,701.67, roughly. That's not great, guys. And again, this is gross. That's not great. Now, I will say, while my sales have dropped dramatically as far as this last year goes, I will say my cost of goods has gone way down as well. Because I changed how I source, doing a lot of bins and stuff. So that's not necessarily like in balance with how my sales have dropped. And then I also have additional income, affiliates, YouTube, and different various. I do have my my Whatnot and private sales added into that, even though they're technically sales. Whatnot, I literally did $400 this year, but that was just because I only did two shows. Whereas last year I had a pretty decent chunk, at least $10,000, I think, from Whatnot. So my gross total for 2023 didn't even hit 100K, guys. $90,962.46. So not great at all. But I'm hopeful, and we'll talk more about that later. So let's go ahead and look at Vicki's numbers and see what hers look like.
Also not great. So this is my first year not hitting 100,000 or more on eBay alone in several years. So I did $79,000 in gross sales on eBay, just under 21,000 on Etsy, 15,000 and change on Poshmark. So I did less on Poshmark this year than I did last year. My Etsy is about the same. I think I'm maybe down 3% on Etsy, it says. My eBay, I'm down about 26,000 total.
You beat me on Etsy this year by literally $500.
Yeah. So Poshmark started out super strong this year, and then when they started with the live sales and the promotions and everything, I don't know about anyone else, but my sales tanked. I was on track to do about 30,000 this year on Poshmark. So it is what it is. So Macari, Whatnot, private sales and Facebook groups and things like that, just under $10,000 total. So my total gross sales from selling merchandise, $125,266. The additional income is affiliate income and things of that nature, and that brings me to a total of $150,000 gross for the year. Not horrible, because all of my other incomes are mostly higher. I think I did 175 last year total overall.
I don't remember.
So the difference is in almost entirely in the lower eBay sales.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. It's not fantastic. Of course, it's not terrible. And if you add our two incomes together, I mean, we're almost $250,000. That's not a horrible gross income.
But again, this is all gross.
You know, so it is what it is. So,
yeah, Barry, no, Whatnot is behind me, my friend. It served its purpose at the time, but no more live selling for me. But I do have a plan that we've talked about a little bit already, but we will get more into it at the end of the show.
If only our bins allowed filming of any kind, which it does not.
No, it does not. Well, he knows that.
He knows that. Anyway, so 150,000, not great, not terrible, but definitely not where I want to be.
Yeah, and again, like I was saying, when like a lot of our costs are cost of living, groceries are way more expensive. Groceries are costing like twice as much as they used to. And seriously, like, what's our gas bill? Like, our gas bill used to be like a couple years ago, $40 a month.
And it is now $185 a month.
It's crazy. It's
and that's
crazy.
Spread out over 12 months for gas, mind you, and we don't even put the heat on. So we don't even put the heat on. So that's for hot water, heat, and then our electric bill is almost $400 a month, and that's spread out. We're on equal pay for both of those.
Yeah, it's just nuts. It's absolutely
both
crazy.
of those things have more than doubled in the last year.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to a fun part where we get to look at our kind of some of our favorite sales over the last year. Again, eBay, we're only going back 90 days, but you'll definitely see some things from both of us that you have not seen us talk about before, because we haven't even been on in like a month. So we've got some good sales to share with you.
Oh, if Tommy, before you forget, how was the district? The district sale was not great, but it was just my first sale there. It's very similar to Whatnot. I find it to be just as easy as a seller to set up a show and to sell it and do it live as it is on Whatnot. But again, it's about having people in your sale, you know. So I'm new to that platform. So those buyers that generally buy in that community on that specific community don't know who I am as a seller. So I just need to do it a little bit more. I do intend to do it once a month.
Yeah. So Dana does make a point. You guys do a lot more laundry than you used to. I mean, I did a lot of laundry before too, but Vicky definitely does a lot more. And I will say that that's got to be some of the added cost when it comes to the gas dryer. But I don't think it should be like the amount that it's gone up was like, I feel like 10 times, and it's just crazy. But yes, I think that's a little bit of it. But also some of the stuff like is just crazy how much the costs have gone up.
Right.
Anyway, okay, so let's go ahead and look at these sales highlights here, starting with Victoria.
Well, you guys might remember this one because it wasn't that long ago, but this was one that I had picked up at the bins. I paid anywhere from $10 to $15 for it based on weight because it was very heavy, but it did just ship to Reno. So I accepted an offer for, I believe it was $295 on this item. And I was pretty happy to get rid of it. What I loved about it is that the guy that purchased it from me does this whole Clint Eastwood impersonation thing. And he sent me a picture of himself and he does like cosplay, and we shared it on the show. It was pretty cool. So I like buying things and then someone shares with you how they're going to wear it, or if they send you a picture. I think it's pretty awesome.
And we had some loud fireworks. Well, that's one of the things about like how on eBay now people can include photographs in their feedback. And I know a lot of people have been kind of grumbled about it, like, why would they need to do that? But on Etsy, that's always been the norm. And I love it when I have an Etsy sale and then they put a picture with their feedback of them wearing like,
I know,
I
love it.
It's great. So I haven't had a feedback on eBay yet with a photograph, but
Me either.
I kind of hope that happens soon because, you know.
I got a negative feedback yesterday on eBay where my customer said, "Great sweater, I love it." Negative. And then I contacted them. I'm like, did you mean to leave a negative feedback? Because your comment seemed like you liked the item. Were you not happy with it? And they're like, I left a positive feedback. No, you didn't. Thank you, though. Okay.
See, and I got a feedback on Mercari where they said...
Oh, they don't care about Mercari. Nobody sees that shit.
Let me tell my story, dang nabbit. I got a positive 5-star feedback where they said there was a blemish, and had they known, they never would have bought it. And I was like, okay, thanks for the positive feedback. So I got the opposite. But they never contacted me or said they had any issue or anything like that. But I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Anyway, this actually sold today, guys. But it's one of my favorites because I actually got this when Ryan and Allie, Rally Roots, were here in town in August, and we took them to the bins. And Ryan pulled this.
Now
and
they're bins addicts.
Yep. Yeah. Now they're like addicted to the bins. And Ryan pulled this, and I don't think he was wanting to have to like take home, or they had limited space, so he gave it to me. And it's just a Detroit Red Wings jacket, and I listed it. And today I got an offer, one of those awesome offers you get. I got an offer for $115, and it said that they'd pay right away. So I was like, heck yeah! So I was pretty stoked about that. See, and I don't know what the issue was with that jacket on Mercari, because I always disclose my blemishes. Anyway, $115, and I gotta say a thank you and a shout out to Ryan. Next up for you.
This one I actually posted a follow-up in the boss group about. So I had pulled this from the bins a few months ago. It was listed maybe 60, 75 days or so. I sat on it for a long time and didn't list it because I didn't know what size bullets went into it. And I didn't know how much that was going to affect the description, because I'm not somebody that knows anything about this stuff, right? So I wasn't entirely sure. I asked about it in our Facebook group, and somebody was a little bit snarky about how it wasn't worth anywhere near what I was saying it was worth, and I'd be lucky if I got $50 to $75 for it, because nothing has ever sold for over $150, and they know what they're talking about.
Well, I think they said something along the lines of, sure, I've only been selling for 20 years, so what do I know? And then you sold it for...
And I sold it for $350. Because I do know what the fuck I'm talking about.
All right.
And I researched it.
Enough with the F-bombs.
Anyway, I researched it and found out that it is a very, very desirable brand. And it is pretty hard to find. And had this had a holster with it, I would have sold it for like $1,500.
Yeah.
So I don't... Here's the thing. Our group, we really don't allow people to be snarky, but every once in a while there is still snarky people, right? The bigger a group gets, the more people come in, and there's all different personalities. But the fact that I have posted in my own group, I can count on one hand how many times I've posted looking for help on something, and to get snarky responses. This is why people don't ask questions in Facebook groups, and it pissed me off. So anyway,
she's mad, real mad.
I got an offer for $350, sold it for $350, got positive feedback on it. Buyers thrilled, they love it. End of story. I got it at the bins. I paid like $4 or $5.
Cheryl, are you time stamping the F-bombs?
Yes, she is.
Okay, well, no more. Stop it. Okay, next up for me. Now, a lot of my favorite sales, they're my favorites because I pulled them from the freaking bins, man. And this is one of them. I pulled this from the bins. I was super excited. I was kind of like, oh, this is really cool. It's all over, double-sided, kind of all over print or mega print of Eeyore. But I was also like, Winnie the Pooh stuff doesn't really sell for a whole lot. But then when I looked it up, I realized this is like one of the Winnie the Pooh shirts that actually does sell pretty well. But this was super faded.
Oh, bother.
Yeah, super faded and worn.
It looks like a nightshirt. Is it big like a nightshirt?
Yeah, and it's like one size. It is kind of like a nightshirt. But what I usually do with these is I just put the listings, or I put the measurements and everything and go off the measurements. So
what did it sell for? Did it sell for that?
It sold for $140. I got an offer for $140 and sold it for $140. I paid a whole $1, you guys, and this just sold within the last week and a half, 2 weeks. But I was very excited about it. You can see it's like super worn and faded.
It really is. I don't know that I would have even picked that up, honestly.
I can't handle it, you guys. She would have seen it and she wouldn't even have picked it up, and she would have been like, "Yeah,
faded.
Katie won't want this."
I would have said, "Nah, it's too faded."
You'll see it. We filmed a haul today. They'll come out on Tuesday, and I showed a shirt. Vicky was like, "Oh, I saw that," and I threw it back, and I'm like, "For the love of all that is holy." It's supposed to be like this bonus that I've got an extra set of eyes at the bins, and she this has happened like 2 or 3 times now where I've grabbed something. She's like, "Oh, I saw that," and I'm like, "Are you serious? You're killing me, man."
Killing you.
But then the stuff that she'll pick up at the bins and bring home for me, I'm like, why would you get this? But it's the same the other way around. So
She's
it's
so ungrateful. So ungrateful.
What? Okay.
Anyway, I don't, because Winnie the Pooh stuff doesn't sell really well, I don't pick up a ton of it, that's all.
Well, at the bins, though. I mean, come on. You crazy. Anyway, $140. All right.
Okay, well, this actually just sold this last week, and this sold for a best offer of $350. I had actually picked this up from our friend Dorothy that lives here in town. A little over a year ago, she had decided she was getting rid of all of her eBay stuff and shutting down her eBay store and getting out of the eBay business. So she let me cherry pick from her inventory. Now, I sold this for $350. Now, we all know these Danbury Mint, oh, no, maybe you don't all know these, but the Danbury Mint Christmas trees that have cats or dogs, or like there's a Dalmatian one, there's a pug one, there's a Boston Terrier one. The dog ones sell for a lot more, and they sell very quickly. I did sit on this for about a year. Now, I paid $30 when I got it from Dorothy, which is more than I normally do, and it doesn't even have the power cord with it, which is in the listing. But somebody had offered me $100 for it, and I almost took it because it was sitting for a year and whatever, and I don't have a lot of money into it. But
it looks like Dana's cat, Eddie.
I countered at $350, and they took it. So
awesome. Real quick, you have a half an hour on the East Coast, guys. You have a half an hour to use your shipping coupon. Corey just reminded us you got 29 minutes.
So yeah, here's the thing. These Danbury Mint trees, Danbury Mint stuff in general, and Bradford Exchange, they're made like absolute garbage. It is cheap, plasticky, resin, poorly painted tchotchkes. The reason why people collect these and pay so much money for certain ones will forever baffle me, because they're made like crap. I have no idea why people love them, but they do. And they spend really good money on them.
What about kiddie school?
A kitty diner, I know. But it's really like, it looks like it was made and it should have been sold at the dollar store. They're so cheaply made. I have no idea why these things sell for hundreds of dollars, but they do. It should play the Meow Mix song.
Meow, 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 meow.
Okay, all right, please stop. Stop that right there. But, I'm perfectly happy to take $350 for it.
Yeah. Barbara says that she sold a dog one a few years ago.
I sold one of the dachshunds playing poker. For that, I had gotten at a garage sale for $5, and it was broken in like 4 places, and I still sold it for $200.
Ridiculous. I know. Dana, look at that perfect angel at the top.
Good grief. Oh, did you hear that big boom?
Yeah. Danica says never stop. Danica loves my singing. She thinks I'm the most amazing singer that ever walked the planet of the earth.
She lies so well.
No, we are very similar, and we like to break out into song for no reason. All right, guys. Next up for me, this is also one that just sold recently. I did not sell it for that much, but I did get this at the bins. Man, I've gotten some good leather jackets this year at the bins. Polo Ralph Lauren lambskin leather bomber jacket. I was desperate for sales. I did take an offer or maybe I sent the offer for $200. It's in great condition, except you can see the lining is torn here. But I sold it for $200, and there's also a missing button in the back. But otherwise, really nice, supple, soft, luxurious, supple leather.
Lambskin.
Poor little lambs. But $200, and it's a little bit of a heavier jacket, so maybe it cost me $6-7 to buy. But you can't go wrong with Polo Ralph Lauren leather jackets. You're always going to be able to sell those and make some good money. So
that is true. That is true.
Love it. But this is from within the last couple of weeks. So, all right, next up for you.
These were a fun find. I found these in Colorado, and I was with Liz and Kristen, Rural Squirrel, and I found these back in January of this year on one of my sourcing trips to Colorado. I pulled them out. I knew they were Civil War, and I was 50-50 whether they were reproductions or not, and come to find out they were reproductions, but I'd only paid like $4 for them, and the buyer was actually in France, and they paid like $30 shipping, and they did not cost me $30. So I ended up picking those up for a couple of dollars, and like all in $175 or something like that. And yeah, I mean, I did a little research and found out they were reproduction, but they were still vintage reproduction.
Very, very cool.
I thought they were cool.
All right, here's one of my favorites from Etsy. This was my 24-hour Church of Elvis t-shirt. The Church of Elvis is actually in Portland, Oregon, and it's also where my aunts got married. And I remember I had this shirt for quite a while, and I took it. Actually, I think Dana wore it when we went to go watch the Elvis movie, which was horrible, by the way. I know some people love it. I thought it was the most god awful movie ever. Just saying. Priscilla was robbed. Just saying.
Well, that's why there's a whole movie about her now.
Well, that's dumb. It's stupid. Whatever.
Tell us how
I'm
you
sure
really
I'm
feel.
sure they weren't like, well, we're gonna leave her out of this because don't worry, she'll get her own movie later on. Okay. Anyway, ugh. So I paid like $10 for this thing, but I listed it high because it's amazing and because I'm from Oregon and I love it. And ended up selling it for $180 on Etsy, so I was very happy about it. You can see it's on the Juanita tag. Juanita. And it's awesome and amazing. And see, it's a gallery of art for the smart. Where's the art? All right, next up for you.
I did have this for quite a while. This was actually a bins find as well. I can't remember if I picked this up in Colorado or here locally, but I did pick it up at the bins. Look at the pictures on it.
Great pictures.
Crystal took some amazing pictures on this, and it truly is the photos that sold it because
Seriously.
you know, the pictures are fantastic. It's sold for the price you see there. It probably cost me less than $1, super light, maybe 4 or 5 ounces total. And it sold for $160. Customer loved it. Great feedback. It took a while. I mean, I had a lot of interest on it. I sent out a lot of offers on eBay. And then it finally it was on sale. And sold for $161. It's just so pretty. I hope someone purchased it and wore it as a costume.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gorgeous, though.
Yeah.
Totally I Dream of Jeannie.
Danica, I do not have a Church of Bacon tea, and I'm very sad about it right now, okay? But yes, Dana's correct. We do have a Church of Meat in general, or at least I don't know what she's talking about, but I'm going to go ahead and say that my Church of Meat that Dana and I like to worship at is called Korean barbecue, and we love it, and we like getting in the meat sweats.
You guys are ridiculous.
You're ridiculous. All right, next up is my Kansas City Chiefs Joe Montana sweatshirt.
Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team.
With the whole Taylor Swift thing, and which it's not all about Taylor Swift. Like also the team has been doing.
Kidding.
I know you were kidding, but a lot of people are talking about it. I'm just saying they're just a very much beloved team right now, and so I sold this for $180. Now, I sold it to a buyer up in Canada, and Canada A. And it was a repeat buyer, and they actually were my favorite sale of the year on Etsy, but it was too hard to show you guys because it was the one that was a multi-order sale that added up to over $1,500 that came in literally the night before we left on our cruise in February. And I had to like hurry up and scramble and pack it up because I didn't want to wait. It was such a big order. I didn't want them to get annoyed that they were having to wait like a week and a half to get the, because this is when we were going to New Orleans for like days and then on a 7-day cruise. So I scrambled around to pack it up, but it was like this huge like 20 t-shirt order going up to Canada. And so then they bought this sweatshirt. I'm assuming they have a shop up in Canada. I'm guessing they probably had a client that this was for. It sold for a ridiculous amount of money, but I was very happy about it. So, all right, next up for you.
This was something I had pulled out of the bins here in Las Vegas. I love it. I love all of these Miller sweaters. This is, you put the word Cowichan in the title. That's technically an Indian shawl collar sweater that has similar features to this. It's not really a Cowichan sweater, but this is how most people describe them. So you have to kind of throw that word in there. If you look it up, the origins are not actually correct, but this is how people look them up and how they describe them. So I just have to go with it, even though it bothers me because I know it's not correct. Anyway, it sold for the price you see there, $175. It was missing buttons, but I actually had ordered a lot of those vintage leather wrapped braided buttons from the 70s to use on replacement things like this. So I actually sent the buyer all new buttons with it and told them I was sending them buttons with it to replace them. So it's pretty cool anyway.
What's Soivus?
And I just love this sweater. I love it, love it, love it. it's very similar to there is a bunch of sweaters from earlier that were made in this Cowichan style in the 50s actually that are made from a Mary something or other.
Sorry, I actually saw the fireworks explode.
Oh, Mary is, I can't think of the last name right now, but it's a pattern that a lot of people made sweaters from this person's designs.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought it was really cool. Got it at the bins here in Vegas.
I was super jealous when she got it. All right, let's do another polo, Ralph Lauren. This Polo Sport. It isn't from that long ago. I actually got this, I think, when Vicky was in Tennessee, and I was doing my daily bins, blah blah blah. And I had one day where I didn't do that great, and so I stopped at the Goodwill. Are you looking for a top up on your?
Yes, I would like some more Dom Perignon.
And so I stopped at our local Goodwill where there really isn't usually a whole lot, and I saw this jacket on the to-go out rack, and it was $25, and I went ahead and bought it. And I sold it to the UK. I think I had it listed for like $300. I sold it to the UK for $220, and was very happy about that. So I was excited because it was a nice little find at our local Goodwill, which I'm kind of jonesing to go back to. I've been expanding and learning more about different men's brands and different things to look for. And I kind of wanted to go do some thrift shopping. But we're going to hit the bins tomorrow probably for the third day in a row with mediocre results. But it is what it is.
It is.
All right. Next up for you.
This was a fun sale. This was earlier this year. I think this was in March or April of this year. I had picked this up at... I'm not sure if it was either the bins or a garage sale, but I didn't pay very much for it, $2 to $3 or something like that. And I always love picking up these vintage umbrellas. Vintage umbrellas that have advertising sell really well. This actually sold for the price you see there. It's a giveaway from the Opium perfume from Yves Saint Laurent. It sold for $175 plus shipping, and it went to France.
Ooh la la.
So it was faded and everything. So whoever had this previously and wherever they had it stored, it was sun faded. So it might have been like next to a door, or I'm not entirely sure, but I probably paid $3 or $4 for it total, and it sold for $175 plus shipping. And I know I made a little bit of money on the shipping as well. So, I mean, hey, I can't complain, right?
Very nice, very nice. All right, this next one, I'm going back and looking through my sales, and I'm like, wait, I sold it for that much? I'm like, I don't even remember this. But this is a Journey t-shirt, and I had it for a while. I think I bought it.
Stop.
Yes, that's correct. Our cruise was almost completely ruined because they didn't have a single Journey song in the karaoke. Ridiculous. But anyway, I had this for a while, and I think I got this in a lot, and it averaged out to the cost being like $30 a shirt. And so I held out for a little while and ended up selling it for $270 on Etsy. Heck yeah, look at those beautiful colors. Boo. Cheryl loves Journey. She loves Journey so
Everybody
much.
loves Journey.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Journey,
She
really?
likes seeing, what's his name? Steve Perry in his tight pants.
So yeah, Dana, the bins are open tomorrow. They are only closed on Christmas Day and Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah,
strangely.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe we'll be disappointed when we get there, but we're pretty sure they're open.
No, I asked.
Oh, Vicky asked. Okay, jeez,
I asked
Dana,
the cashier.
I can't believe you would even ask us that. All right, next up for you.
This actually sold while this was actually a bins buy as well, and I paid $7.99 because it was heavy, and they price heavier things individually. So I paid $7.99 for this at the bins. Katie ended up having to package and ship this. I had charged like $50 shipping. And,
go ahead, give me your story.
I'm laughing at you read this comment too. So anyway, I paid $7.99. I had charged like $50 shipping because this is big. It is heavy. Katie actually had to package and ship this while I was away at some point this year. I don't know if I was in Rhode Island or if I was in Nashville or if I was in Colorado, because I took like 3 or 4 trips without Katie this year because I'm a jerk. Mm-hmm. So it sold for the price you see there, $192 plus $50 in shipping. And I know that it did not cost $50 to ship. So that was pretty good. I did have it for quite a while, though. It sat for a minute.
Yeah, and somehow I managed to get to where it was going without getting
Well,
smashed.
and of course it had to be shipped while I was away because, always when I go away, I'm going to sell one of the heaviest, most awkward, difficult to package items specifically for Katie.
I think this was the only one this year that
It may
was
have
difficult. I actually got off pretty scot free, other than this one. All right, next one for me. Oh man, I love this thing. So I remember I got this from Jesse at Yesterday's Fits, and it was one of those things where now this is the same pattern, but it's not the same colorway as the official Big Lebowski.
And how do you have your review for it right there? That's so weird to me.
Oh, I don't know.
Usually when you show something sold on Etsy, you don't have it for the item.
Yeah,
it's like your most recent one.
I have no idea. But anyway, so it's not quite the same color because this one's kind of like a blue and a gray, whereas the regular one is like a brown beige. But this is definitely a vintage 70s one. But I'm sorry guys, I love the Big Lebowski. I love the dude. I needed to have it in my inventory, and so I overpaid for it. I think he wanted like $80 because he had just gotten it. So he was barely charging me above what he paid for it. And I knew from looking at the comps that I was paying too much. But it's just one of those things where I just could not, my nostalgia, my love for the movie, I could not
Couldn't leave it behind.
I couldn't leave it behind. And so I still listed it high. And let me tell you, much to my delight and surprise, it sold for $269.99 on Etsy. And I was so happy because
I'd pay $80 to turn it into $270 all day long.
But that is not like
Not what you expected to happen.
that was not what I expected.
I get
Maybe I would have gotten that for like the actual one. So it's just one of those things where Etsy surprises you and you end up selling something for way more than what you really should. But and then they were very happy with their purchase.
I'm gonna sneeze. Hold on.
Sorry, guys. It's very loud. Oh dear, that was very loud. Oh my. Okay.
Sorry.
Get your sneezels out and tell us about this.
Anyway, this was one that I picked up here locally from our friend Susan. I had shopped her garage last year and also sat on listing a bunch of that stuff for quite a while. It sat in the corner of my shipping room. For whatever reason, I knew I had to like test things and dust them, and it was just, so it took me a while to list it, but it sold fairly quickly. This is one that actually sold for $210. I think I had about $5 to $10 into it. And it sold for $210 plus like $50 shipping. And the fact that it actually made it there, I never had any issues with it. That's like a minor miracle lately, right? So
yeah,
there we go.
Hold on. I want to get the countdown up here. See if I can. I'm sure there's got to be something. I'm going to get the New Year's countdown.
Oh, for the East Coast?
Yeah. So that I can.
We are 12 minutes away.
Let's see. I just want to make sure I got it going here.
There you
All
go.
right. Yep.
That's
Okay.
it.
All right. Next up, I have one grill. My sad grill performance this year.
I mean, this was a good one.
This is one of my favorite sales of the entire year on any
You
platform.
got candy cane wieners on the thing.
Any platform, snowflake buttholes. Is
that what that is?
I don't
Snowflake
know.
butthole? You've got the
we got
booby ornaments.
We got a prolapse snowflake. We've got we've got booby ornaments. We've got all kinds of great stuff. We've got fun.
Kiss you under the mistletoe, and
We've got awesome, like you got your butt plugs. It's all
butt plug
kinds of great
Christmas
stuff.
tree. I don't even.
But
know.
I found this at the bins, and I know I told you guys this because it didn't sell that long ago. I giggled when I picked it up, and then all of a sudden my brain started working, and I thought to myself, they don't sell this at Walmart. This is not something that was widely available. It's got to be worth some money. And so I grabbed it, and sure enough, I sold it for $150 on the good old...
It's kind of ridiculous.
Grail.
I don't know who wore that to Christmas, the ugly Christmas sweater party contest at the office or at Great Aunt Edna's house on Christmas Eve, but I want to be a fly on the wall for the person that wore this. That's all I want to know.
As Danica and Santa Claus say, ho, ho, whoa!
Ridiculous.
So yes, absolutely. Okay, next up for you.
And the chat is devolving right now with Tommy. Here he goes. Save a horse, ride a cowboy, Tommy. Get yourself to Texas. Okay,
Anyway.
anyway.
Hipster cowboys in Portland. He doesn't need to go to Texas.
That's true. That's true.
All right.
So I picked this up in Colorado just last month. Right? Not last month. When did we go? October.
Yes.
I picked this up in October.
Actually, November.
November? Jeez.
Who knows when?
I don't know. I did realize
I
did realize I flew 22 times this year, so that should tell you something.
Yeah.
But I paid $40 for this. This was actually under a pile of stuff in this guy's garage that we went to do a private buy at his house. I saw a piece of it peeking out. I was like, "What's that?" And he's like, "I don't know. Let me pull it out." And he pulled it out. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I picked this thing up." He's like, "I don't really know. It's like made out of ski hats and whatever." I was like, "I want that. How much?" And he's like, "I don't know, $40. I'm sure he got it at the bins. Everything he gets is at the bins. I paid $40 for it. It sold for $280 plus shipping. It went back to Colorado. And it sold in like less than a month.
I love it. I totally would have bought that if I had seen it before you. But I just wanted to give a shout out to our lovely friend Victoria Smith, who's in the chat. I don't know if you've talked to her yet, but we are going to be going to visit Lorna soon, and hopefully we're going to get to see you, Victoria.
I will. I'm going to call Victoria. I'm going to chat with you this week because I got to book our trip to see Lorna.
Yeah, and we haven't seen you in pretty much a million years. So
or Lorna.
Yeah, or Lorna. But I think we've seen Lorna even more recently than Victoria, but I don't know. Anyway, all right. Anything else on that one?
No, I just think it's really cool. Now, I did think when I picked it up that it was very original. I did think that it was a one of a kind. It is not, in fact, a one of a kind. It was made in the 70s. It is made out of vintage ski hats, but there are more than one out there. There is more than one out there. I did find them, but they do sell in this price range. They sell between, $250 and $350. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
All right. Okay, next up for me, I just grabbed one. Overall, I haven't had any crazy sales on Depop, but this is one that I really liked because I found this at the bins, and there's a whole thing around Travis Scott and the Marlboro pocket tees, although the specific one that's really popular because of him is a black one with a snake on it. But it has also elevated the prices on all the other Marlboro pocket tees, and this one was pretty much brand new. And I had grabbed it, and I had found a bunch of other really cool stuff. And this guy came up and he was like wanting to see it, and he asked if it was for sale, and I actually said no because he was like, "Oh, I really love Marlboro tees," but I knew like I could make some money with it, and he wasn't going to pay me $100 for a Marlboro tee. So I just said no, and I listed it and sold it on the good old Depop for $100. Paid $1 for it, but I love the colors. It's awesome. Beautiful. And yeah, Depop, although you do disappoint me, Depop, overall Poshmark's way better. I'm living the life as a posh twat. So
you're such a dork.
See you later, Depop. Anyway, what's up?
This was actually a fantastic sale on the old Etsy. I had picked this up at the bins. I knew nothing about this brand, but I do love to pick up quality leather goods. And this was that. This was exactly a quality leather item. It was heavy. It was well oiled. You could tell it was really well made. And I probably paid, I don't know, $15 for it based on weight. I probably should have had it weighed separately, but I did not. So I probably paid about $15 for it. It did take me about 60 days to sell it, and it sold for the price you see there, $420. And then I believe I did charge for shipping, like $15 or $20 as well. It went to New York. The customer was super happy to have it. And yeah, I keep an eye out for that brand. Mulholland Brothers. Sorry, I just flicked the microphone. I apologize.
Better apologize. We got a little more than 5 minutes for the East Coast. We'll start ringing in the new year. What do you guys do for your New Year? I hear all these fireworks. And I'm like, we never did fireworks. We never did anything like this. I'm sure we talked about this. I'm going to go off this for a second. I'm sure we've talked about this before when we've done New Year shows. But we never did fireworks or anything like that. But our whole tradition at our house, and this is just my mom passing it to us, was we would get out pots and pans and like wooden spoons and stuff, and we'd go out on the front porch, and at midnight we'd open the door and yell and bang the pots and pans.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. That's a common thing of going out to your front, opening your front door and letting out all of the bad things from the last year. That's a normal thing.
But there's no like
opening
one
the front door
specific.
thing.
There's no one specific culture that does that. Like there's several of them, but it is a very specific thing. The whole banging of pots and pans and making lots and lots of noise. And so I don't know. What did you guys do when you were a kid? Did you do anything?
Nothing.
Nothing at all?
Nothing.
Did you watch the ball drop on TV?
I don't remember
Nothing?
ever doing that. I remember sleeping over friends' houses by the time I was like 11 or 12. Listen, we have not talked about this a lot, but like my childhood was pretty shitty. I didn't do a lot
mine
when I was a
too.
kid. So I don't remember doing anything with my parents ever on New Year's Eve. And I don't remember doing anything until I was a teenager, and then almost always would have a sleepover with a friend as a teenager. And then I was out of the house at 14. So, yeah. Sorry, I don't know.
We definitely have fireworks back in Oregon too. It's in Portland when I lived in Portland, but we didn't like in the little tiny town I was from. But yeah, I always had fun on New Year's Eve just because of that, getting to bang stuff together, make lots of noise.
I was always big at going to like house parties. I would always go to a house party or a sleepover. I would do house parties if we didn't have such timid dogs. Like I would either have somebody over here, which we've done a lot over the last few years. We'd either gone to a friend's house or had somebody here, but quiet. It's usually like, 4 or 5 people hanging out. We went out one year to a friend's bar, but I mean, I haven't gone out on New Year's Eve very often.
I've never cared about the whole going out. I'm more like, I want to hang out, with people that I care about. But I don't, the whole like going out and partying. I lived in New York for 2 years. Now, granted, I wasn't home or I wasn't in New York during New Year's, but the idea of going down to Times Square, it's like, how do you go to the bathroom? It's completely packed. You can't go to the bathroom.
You wear Depends.
So, yeah, you can't go to the bathroom, but it's New Year's, so you want to drink. So it's like, how does that doesn't, it would be a nightmare. That does not sound fun at all. Never in a million years would I want to do that.
Trish, you are doing a sleepover, I bet. Are you at your house? No, you're not. I bet you're at Diane's house and you're going to have a sleepover because you're already having fun.
I'm not suburban. I'm rural. I come from
rural.
I come from a town of 2,000 people. My 8th grade class was 30 kids. It was a farming
Dana
community.
says our neighbors would be so pissed if we clanged pots and pans.
All right, we're down to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. We'll get back to our show once we do a little whoop whoop. I'll bang some pots and pans. I got a pot here, though I don't have anything to bang with.
Yeah, see, Trish is having a sleepover.
Yeah, like you're gonna go home. Give me a break. But yeah, I don't.
Danica says sleepover with Trish. You have to sleep in your vehicle. Now, Danica, you chose that lady.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've ever really I mean, I know we went out. The picture that is the cover picture for this show. That was us going out for New Year's, but I don't think I've ever...
We went to our friend's bar where she bartended.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said, that's why I did quotations out. I don't think I've actually ever gone out for like a big New Year's thing. I've had house parties like when I was younger, like for New Year's, but that was about it.
Kathy Max says we normally hoe out dancing. What kind of dancing are you doing on New Year's Eve, Kathy?
She said go out.
I know, I'm kidding.
That's how it goes in Tucson.
She go hose out dancing. This year we stayed home. That seems disappointing. My goodness. All right, are we almost at the countdown here?
Yeah, we're down to a minute.
All right,
Come on.
let's keep talking for a minute instead of... So Cheryl said, hubby's asleep.
Can't even get a kiss.
I've never been to the Strip. I went off Strip one year. I went with this old douchebag I used to be friends with to the Hard Rock. That was off Strip. That was closing, and that was a New Year's Eve thing I went to. It was miserable. I had zero desire to be there. It was packed entirely. There was
Wasn't
nothing
I there
going on.
with you?
No.
The Hard Rock?
That was a different... You're talking about the casino. This was a different place.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you
It was so not fun, and it was packed, and we were nowhere near the stage. There was some band playing. Who knows? They were not very good. I have no desire to do that. No desire to do that at all.
Yeah.
It was not fun.
Oh, 22 seconds. You
Oh,
guys,
my goodness.
get ready. Get out your pots and pans, bitches!
I have my Dom,
It's
my Dom Perignon.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year to
Happy
our
New Year.
East Coast friends. You like that?
You're a weirdo.
Happy New Year! All right, back to sales. Happy New Year, everybody! Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. We actually have almost 80 people watching us right now, which is cool.
That
Believe me,
tells
we're not
me
going anywhere.
we're not going anywhere.
I bet a lot
That
of them
tells
have
me
dogs.
that you poor people are home with your dogs,
Yeah.
or you're tired, or whatever. So
Yeah, our dogs are doing good. They haven't barked so far at all with all of the fireworks going on.
and we're being loud.
I know. Hopefully they're doing a little bit better right now. All right, so let me go back. Let me bring this back up on the screen. Okay, so this shirt is another one I found at the bins. I was very excited when I saw it. It did take a while. I think I had it listed for like a good 6 months before I actually sold it. This Magic the Gathering instructor t-shirt, Thundermare. But I sold it for $125. But I love finding nerd stuff like this. It always makes me happy. And anytime I find something really cool at the bins, I'm always like looking around at the, side-eyeing the different t-shirt bros and going, you missed it, sucker, you missed it. That's what I do. And then I trip them. Anyway. All right. What you got? What's this?
This was a fun sale this year. It was a brand that I did not know about that I had picked up at the bins just because it was cottagecore looking and it was pretty and it was silk and it was nicely made. And I picked it up thinking I was just going to be selling it on the fact that it was a really pretty pattern. And then when I got it home, thank goodness something told me to look up the brand, and I realized it is a high-end, very desirable brand. And it literally sold within, I had listed it on eBay and cross-posted it immediately, and I had 5 offers on eBay, and then it sold for full price on Poshmark, like within 20 minutes of listing it.
Nice.
So I had probably paid $1 for it because it was silk and lightweight, maybe $2 max, and it sold for $215. So it's a brand that if you're not familiar with, like I was not familiar with, it was very unassuming looking. Definitely keep an eye out. If you can scroll down to show the tag.
I did.
That's the tag.
Yep, that's the tag.
You would not have necessarily thought that that was high end if you didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
All right, my last 2 are actually Macari sales, surprisingly, even though, Macari did better. Macari beat Grailed this year, which is crazy because Grailed, while not an amazing platform, used to be a decent one where I would be able to make at least $1,000 a month. And now it's like for the whole year, I did $3,500 on Grailed. How dare you, Grailed? So rude.
Grailed can suck it.
Yeah, but this is what I sold within the last few weeks, and I sold, it is another bins find. I didn't know anything about this brand at all. I just saw that it was lambskin leather, and so I grabbed it, even though it was quite big and very heavy. But I sold it for $170 on Mercari, guys, on Mercari. And so pretty heavy. So let's just say $10. I mean, it might have been less than that, but I had probably bought it for like $10 and sold it for $170. So I was very, very excited about that. Just a Big Daddy size 3XL, Big Daddy lambskin leather. Poor little, how many lambs do you think it took to make this?
It was had to be at least 15.
Oh,
Lambs
15?
are tiny. Lambs are tiny.
How big?
But hopefully
oh, I don't like it. I like lambs. Ugh, disgusting. All right.
Okay, so this was a purchase that I took a risk on. I purchased this when List Perfectly was here doing their listing party in the USA tour.
Mm-hmm.
We took the List Perfectly people to Yesterday's Fits to do a little bit of sourcing and to show, well, Katie was sourcing and I was sourcing a little bit. And this was one of the items that I purchased from Jesse at Yesterday's Fits. I wasn't entirely sure, and neither was he, whether this was genuine Saint Laurent. We were taking a risk, and I believe I paid $75 for it.
Well, one of his guys really wanted it, and I think you wanted to give him $50, and then you went. I think you might have even paid 100 for it.
No, I paid seven. I think I paid 70,
75? Okay.
75, because I wanted to pay 50. And, but I paid 75. And then when I got it home, I was able to do a little bit more research and found out that yes, it is genuine. I wasn't sure. The tags looked fine, but, you know, you never know, obviously, with designer and luxury designer. And I listed it and it sold very quickly for $440 on Poshmark. That was my highest sale on Poshmark this year.
But I don't know with luxury stuff. I don't know that like a big heavy wool overcoat would be something that would be faked, just because.
Yeah, I mean, it's not old. It wasn't vintage
Yeah.
or anything, but it was pretty cool.
Yep, very cool. All right, guys. Brrr. My favorite sale, maybe of the year, other than that giant multi-order I had on Etsy, is this Mercari sale, and we'll see if you guys remember it. It actually sold in January of 2023. This is a t-shirt that was actually given to me for free from one of our viewers. I don't know what he's up to, but his name is Felipe. He sent me this t-shirt, and he sent a jacket, I believe, for Vicky.
I did a store review for him.
Yes, Vicky did a store review for him, and I gave him some shout outs on the show. And he was just showing his appreciation, and he wanted like a little bit of help and feedback on his store. And so this, you know, he had sent me this pictures of this, and I'm like, I will say, like, I love vintage t-shirts. I am in no way any kind of expert on any of the comic book stuff.
Right.
Because it's kind of like, it's one of those things, it's kind of like along with rap tees, where it's like some of the stuff is worth nothing, some of it's worth a lot, and I don't understand the difference. I just don't have that much of a depth of knowledge when it comes to that. And so I just thought it looked cool, and so he sent it to me. And I did some research, and I think I listed it on the high end anyway, and ended up selling it for $400 on Mercari. I think I did some negotiating with somebody. Sold it for $400. So it was really, really super cool. So, and that was back in January, and still probably my favorite sale, the whole individual item sale of the whole year. So once again, I don't know if he's been watching us lately, but once again, thank you to Felipe for giving me this shirt, because it was seriously one of the coolest sales. And on Mercari, what?
I love Tommy's comment because it's so true. I find it amazing. We can't remember what happened last week. I can't remember what happened yesterday. But we can tell you where we bought everything a year ago. It is so true. It is so true and funny.
Yeah,
but accurate.
I mean, it's getting a little bit harder now that like we're like ramping up the volume a little bit. So, you know, looking at our numbers for the last year, and at least for me, like how much my numbers really dropped, especially on eBay. We've been making some changes to our businesses. We've talked about it back in November, like early mid-November. We were talking about things that we wanted to do. We were kind of like, it was like we were flirting with the changes we were going to make in 2024.
I started the end of October.
Yeah. So, but we were kind of talking about like, okay, well, we're at least talking about it, and maybe we're going to do this, maybe we're going to do that. And you know, Vicky had joined the Tech and Sports Patreon and the Facebook group, and then but just based on like her talking about it, but also our friend Alexis, who had come to visit us, she had like increased her sales by like $100,000 the first year that she really implemented this whole banking listings and listing the same number every single day to have consistency. So I was already kind of like in that mindset, but I was like, I don't think I'm ready for it yet. So I was kind of like talking about it, and then I didn't even like make a decision. I'm going to do it now. It just happened. So in November 12th, I started doing the 10 listings a day. I hadn't planned on starting, but then I don't, for some reason, suddenly I was doing it. And today is day 50. I haven't missed a single day. Day 50, my first time through 2023, day 50, 10 listings a day without stopping, including when we were gone for 10 days. Mm-hmm. And how about you?
So I have not missed a day, even with as sick as I was these last 2 weeks, a minimum of 10 new listings a day, but I've been doing closer to 15 new listings a day and ending and completely reworking old listings. I sort by the oldest ones, and I'm doing 10 to 20 a day, sometimes more if I have time. I really have been doing the minimum the last 2 weeks because I've been real sick. So it really has been 10 to 15 a day of new listings, but a minimum of 10 to 15 a day new listings. And I bank some, I list them, I list the rest live. anything I do over 15, I bank. And that was why I've been able to, like yesterday, I didn't work yesterday. Yesterday I had scheduled 10 listings to go live during the day yesterday, so I didn't have to work because I went sourcing and then I was cleaning the house and I was like, I'm just I don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to be doing that. Now, obviously, the whole methodology that goes behind what that group is teaching, what Tech and all of his people in there teach, has a way more to do than just being consistent, but that is a big part of it. For me, that is the biggest takeaway, and that's something that I'm going to implement. Don't get me wrong, I'm never going to be that person that's doing 75 listings a day and $600,000 a year in sales. It's
Alexis
just not,
does 12 a day. And
it's not going to happen.
Increased by $100,000.
Correct. I understand that.
No, I wasn't explaining that to you. I was telling them out there in the world.
Yeah. So I'm never going to do that because I don't want to work that hard. I don't want to hustle that hard. I don't want to. But what I can tell you is, as sick as I have been these last 2 weeks, I get up between 5 and 6 every morning. That's just the way I've been the last few months. That's not with an alarm. It's just I can't sleep any later. I don't know. I'm getting old. So I'm up early. So I get up, I have my coffee. I am done with shipping and working and doing those 15 new listings and reworking old listings by 9 a.m. every morning. I'm done with my workday by 9. I can be completely done. Do I keep doing stuff? Of course I do. But I can be completely done with my workday by 9 o'clock, 7 days a week. That's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
So I want to consistently keep working on that. I do have somebody that's doing listings for me right now. We're still working out, trying to see how that's going to work, what that looks like. I will always have someone working for me doing drafts and listings. Now, maybe by the end of the year, I'd like to do 20 brand new listings a day and still keep reworking listings. At some point, I'm not going to have any old listings to rework. So that's kind of going to be a moot point. But it is going to be getting rid of the older listings that I have now optimized to the best of my ability. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that I'm going to be doing more of that. And my whole plan is just to be more consistent. Now, I'm paying for this Patreon. I have never listened to a single podcast. I have never listened to a single call. I have never been on a single call. I have not taken advantage of this group or this Patreon in any way, shape, or form other than reading posts in the group. Now, there is a wealth of knowledge there, far more than I could ever use or need, because it's on many, many different categories, and there are experts in every category to teach about different things. My intent is to actually at least listen to the podcasts over the next several weeks and get myself caught up with those at the very least.
I want to check out some of like the men's brands, the deep dives that they do in the menswear and stuff, because I am learning some stuff that I didn't know before. And part of what I'm doing, not just the daily listing, but also like Vikki was saying about reworking, optimizing your titles, your pictures. My pictures are good, but completely changing like how I do my title structure. And so for me, I'm sticking to the 10 a day, 10 new listings every single day. But like what happens is I get in a bunch of stuff, I photograph it, get all ready to go, and then I go crazy listing. And I'll list like 25, 30 things in a day, but I bank everything over 10. Now, I do just go ahead and make it live on all my other platforms. So so some of the stuff, it'll be like already on my other platforms for 5, 6, 7, 8 a week before it even goes on eBay, and that's fine. Because I'm really focused on just eBay when it comes to that like real consistency, and I don't want to like go above 10 for a while. I just want to see, is this sustainable in the long run? So far it's been okay, but you know, if you remember before when we've been doing this now since I think July, where we're doing like the weekly check-ins and setting goals, and my goal would always be 50 items a week. Like I'm gonna like do a goal that's comfortable and do 50 a week. Because I would always be sporadic and things would come up. We'd travel. I'd have to do processing and photographing and measuring. So that would take me out for a couple of days, or the weekend, or when
people come to visit.
All these different things. And it's like I wasn't consistent, even though I have a very good work ethic and I'm willing to work hard and I'm always willing to work. It wasn't consistent. So it was kind of like always up and down. And now it's like I said, I've had 50 days. My sales are definitely up. How much of that is Q4? I don't know. But for instance, like, you know, I just had a big batch and I went crazy and I had like my bank up to like 75 listings. And so then like yesterday and today, all I've been working on is putting away inventory because I hadn't put away my t-shirt inventory since last June. And so I could work all day yesterday and today on doing that. And I didn't have to worry because I had those 10 listings still going live yesterday and today. And tomorrow I got to finish putting away the inventory and get back to listing. But I don't have to worry because I'm still consistently doing that. So, and plus, like I said earlier, I'm working on being better about my pricing. I have more listings than I've ever had before. I'm close to hitting 2,900. I hung out in the 2,200, 2,300 area for a couple of years. I'm at almost 2,900 listings now. So I need to be bringing my prices down. I need to get stuff moving faster.
Okay, so one thing that I've noticed for me personally is because I am working on also accepting, some of the money all of the time versus all of the money some of the time. That is something that I'm working on because my buy price on things that I purchase is generally so low. I do tend to be precious about my items. I know this is worth this. I'm going to hold out for this. I'm getting better at accepting, okay, I've had this for 6 months. I paid $2 for it. Okay, I'll take that $40 offer because somebody's not giving me $75 right now.
Yeah.
So I'm getting better at that, and I will continue to do that. Sending out aggressive offers, I've always done that. So but I'm also accepting more aggressive offers. What I will say is I've got about 4,700 items in my store right now. I have consistently for the last, 10 weeks now, been working this method and doing a minimum of 10 listings a day. I cannot get back up to 4,700. So as much as I am listing and as consistent as I've been listing, I am selling as much as I am listing, which is a very good thing. That is not the case with me usually because I sell vintage and everything's long tail. The one thing that they do preach about and talk about a lot in that group is sell-through rate. Most people are not selling in niche categories. They're not selling vintage like Katy and I are. Vintage items definitely take longer, and sell-through rate is not something that is as important because we're not buying based on comps of a certain item because there may be no comps. Yeah. So it is a little bit different for the categories that we sell in. But if you are selling name brand items, no matter what that may be, whether that's shoes or jackets or jeans or puzzles, I don't care what they are. But if it's something that's compable and you're able to comp your prices because there's multiples of these items selling, then that is something that you definitely need to pay attention to your sell-through rate on. And it makes a lot of sense to do it that way, especially the way that they're teaching, because if something doesn't meet your metrics, and your metrics are something that you're going to dial into based on a formula and a lot of different formulas they talk about. So it makes a lot of sense with me. So I don't work my metrics in that same manner because of what I sell is not as important to me, but I am looking at consistently. If I'm going to list 10 things a day, I want to sell 10 things a day. And that right there means that that's giving me the sell-through metrics that I need to be doing. They don't have to be the same 10 things. They don't have to be anything that I've purchased in the last 2 weeks. However, if I'm selling 10 things and listing 10 things, I want to at least be consistent. Ideally, you want to sell more than you list, right? But that takes longer. So I'm definitely getting better for sure.
Yeah. And it is easier for me since I'm not paying up like I used to for stuff to sell it for a little bit cheaper. It's like, yeah, it's cool when I sell a t-shirt for $100 that nobody else could have sold it for that. It's like, okay, but I'm not doing it often enough. I'm clearly not doing it often enough to be happy with where I'm at. And if I have the sources where I can go and get the inventory, I should be selling it faster. If it's not anything that's like super crazy unique, I can sell it for $40 instead of $60 or $70.
And sitting on it for
longer.
6 months,
And I just had to add, like, I'm putting away
some of the money all of the time.
I'm putting away all my stuff, and I just added 4 more bins into my room, and it's like I can't grow at the I need to be selling the stuff for sure. And so a lot of that's going back, going to the oldest listings, like I was just saying before. Vicky was saying, completely changing the title structure. And I've had a few things where it sells like the same day or within a couple of days. And it's stuff where I'm like, why do I even pick this up? And so I list it for cheaper, different title structure, and boom, it sells. So I need to get rid of that crap. It's fine to price it up and see what happens the first week or two, but then I can send out super crazy aggressive offers, 50% off, 60% off, and just get the stuff out, because I do get the eyeballs on it. I do get the watches.
Right.
So, but I need to move it. It's like,
I'm looking at Barry's comment there. So the Tech and Sports podcast with vintage and stuff, he actually just posted which won't be available to the public for a while, but is available for Patreon members. He just did an interview with Drew Heifetz this week that just came up, that I actually want to watch as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know you did a buy with Drew before.
Yeah, I've
done a couple buys with him.
I did one private buy with him, but he's definitely, he comes from like a line, like his dad was a vintage seller he still is, but starting back in like the 70s and stuff. So he comes from, people talk about, especially when it comes to vintage teas, like, oh, it's like this craze right now.
But he's old school. He's been doing it a long time. Yep. It's like a Paul Cantu. They've been doing it a long time.
Yeah, he's been doing it way longer than Paul Cantu.
It's true, but
anyway, yeah, so like I was saying before, it's like when I look at 2023, I'm like, ugh. But I feel really hopeful because I feel like I have a plan. I feel like I have, an avenue. I feel like I have a path forward that I think is going to work. And I see ways that I can make changes because you can't keep doing the same thing. And especially if the results are changing or the results are not.
The market's changing.
The market is always changing. And if my results are no longer working, it's no longer working the way it used to work with the way that I used to do things. I have to change. I have to.
Everybody has had to adapt. I mean, 2020 was a year for all of us, right? 2020, let's face it, if we could all have the sales we had in 2020, life would be good. But that's not in reality what the market is doing. Now, online selling is becoming more and more saturated. That is the life. That is just factual because more and more people are purchasing online. Fewer and fewer people are actually going to stores to buy things, anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Everybody's buying everything online, whether they're buying it from Shein or they're buying it from Temu or they're buying it from Amazon or they're buying it from eBay or Etsy. People are buying things online. They're not walking into a mall and going shopping for 5 hours on a Saturday afternoon. It doesn't happen anymore. The only people that still shop malls are the elderly, and that's life. And nobody's going to a mall to buy things anymore. You find the things you want and you realize, oh, I'm not going to pay that for it. You had to fight for the sales and the coupons and this and that. It is what it is. So,
yeah, I think the Drew Heifetz one just became available.
Yeah, week. I think it just went public. Everything in the Patreon gets released to us immediately, and then it goes out to public like a week after or something like that.
But yeah, like, and the thing is, before 2020, at least for me, I started, my first sale was in 2015, the end of 2015. For me, it was like 2016 and did great. 2017 sold more than 2016. 2018 sold more the year before. It was a consistent upward trajectory all the way up to 2020. And then 2020 exploded. And then it was all downhill from there. And that was because I was like, oh, I'm doing this. It's working for me. It's working for me. It's working for me. It's working for me. And then it wasn't working anymore. And it's basically taken me a couple of years to figure it out. It's like basically like last year, my way of dealing with it was adding more platforms, adding more ways to bring in revenue. And that kind of was like a Band-Aid on the problem. And it made me hold steady. And then this year it was like really like the wake up call of like, this actually does not work anymore.
Yeah. And not only that is, I will say for me personally, we travel a lot, right? We said at the beginning of this year, this was going to be the year of travel. It absolutely was the year of travel. I took 22 flights, several road trips, 3 cruises. We didn't have a single month this year that we were not gone or didn't have a visitor or didn't take time off because of one of those things.
Yeah.
Now, the way that our businesses have always been, neither one of us do any work when we're on vacation. Things were not getting listed. We would just extend our handling time and sales would come in. Not as steady, but they'd come in. Well, I'm sorry. That kills your algorithm and it kills your sales on certain platforms, eBay especially, which is still the monster platform, right? So doing what we're doing with just the simple thing of scheduling listings and learning to bank listings. This cruise that we just went on, this is the very first time Katy and I both had listings going live every single day while we were not even paying attention to it. And I will tell you that 9 days that we were gone, I did $5,500 in sales. Now, yes, it was also December, but that's still a really good week for me, whether it was December or not.
Yeah.
So, now, is that an abnormal thing? Sure. Now, do I know how much of my growth is because of what I've been doing and how much of it is because it was Q4? That remains to be seen. I'm only two months plus into it.
Got to see what 2024 is going to look like.
Got to see what 2024 looks like.
Hey, Alexis, we were talking about you earlier. Alexis, by the way, check it in. I'm on day 50. Today is day 50 of 10 listings. I'm 50. Today is day 50 of every single day making 10 listings live. We were talking about Alexis and how she does it with shoes. Her number's 12. That's her magic number. She's cleaning shoes.
That's an exciting New Year's Eve. Are your kids still awake? Are they trying to stay awake from midnight? I am on 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I have 6 weeks straight. I have not missed a single day of doing a minimum of 10 listings live.
Yeah.
So, for me, that it's starting to work. I'm going to see what this year brings. I'm excited to see what this year brings. I will actually start listening to some of the podcasts. I do find it difficult to listen to podcasts while I'm working, so I'm going to try to overcome that. We've talked about this. I don't watch YouTube. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm going to start doing that. So,
yeah. Like I was saying, I want to check out the ones about like men's fashion and stuff because this last year I've had to expand. I really liked just doing t-shirts and sweatshirts, guys, but I've had to kind of expand out. And so now I'd like to know more about some of these other brands, especially being at the bins. You never know what you're going to come across. So I don't know. I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I feel like for me, there's no reason why I can't just explode over 2024.
And this year we have time to actually do a lot more work because, as most of you guys know, there is no Boss Reseller Remix this year. We are going to continue it, but it is going to be in the spring of 2025. We're bringing it back in the spring instead of in the beginning of Q4, which gives us this entire year, or most of this year, to not have to do any planning for it until toward the end of the year. Because it does take us a solid 6 months or so, but we can start really looking at it in September-ish. Which is really nice because that gives us time to be able to focus on our businesses. We have to visit, we have visits that we have to do every year no matter what. We visit my friends and family on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. We have to visit Katy's family this year. We haven't been to Oregon in a couple of years, so I haven't been anyway. We do, we have our reseller cruise is coming up at the end of April. By the way, if you want to come on that cruise, please message me. I'll give you the information on it. There are still rooms available. Obviously, the cruise itself is not sold out. It's out of Long Beach. I believe it's April 29th. We're just doing a 5-day cruise. It's a lot of fun. There are people. It's still interior cabins available and balconies. We had, blocked off a bunch, but there are also just regular ones. Trying to think, it'll be fun. We're not doing any content. It's just it's just a fun get together. We have people coming that are not resellers that are friends of ours.
Yeah. Kathleen, I never had any interest in banking listings. It made no sense to me. I'm like, if I have the product, I want it listed. I want it working for me. I want that money coming in. And that was the way I looked at it. But now that I've actually started doing it, I've been doing it for 50 days now, it forces that consistency. And overall, like I said, I was trying to hit like 50 listings a week. And there were plenty of weeks before that when I wasn't hitting that at all. And now it's like no matter what, 70 listings are going live every single week. And I have to keep on top of it. So I have to keep on top of my sourcing. And it gives you that flexibility. And then it's like, bam, I got a weekend, or like Dom's coming into town, or she's here in town. And, we're going to do some work over the next few days, but I don't have to worry too much because I already have those listings banked that I need. I'm still going to need to do some listing because I don't want to use up all of my bank because I still have to process my next group of stuff that I got to photograph, but it gives you more flexibility while you're still being more productive and actually getting more listed. So
I'm looking at, Edie and me, I don't know who Thrift to Life is, but no, I've never looked at, I know Katy hasn't either. No. I don't think she knows who that person is. I've never actually looked at anyone's buying or selling guides ever on anything. I've never, ever found another reseller who has taught me anything I didn't already know. And I know that sounds cocky, but it's true. I am self-taught on this platform. I've been doing it for 25 years. I've never purchased anything from anyone else. I've never found need to purchase a guide. Most of the time, people selling guides or selling courses are inferior sellers.
Well, and you have different ways of picking up that information. Like not just watching. Like you would follow like people on Instagram and see like their tags and like there's ways of getting that information.
I've learned that for modern things, I followed a lot of Poshmark people when they used to do the label porn is what I called it. And there's not as many people doing that now, but that was a thing a few years ago. But I've never actually found a guide that has taught me something I didn't already know or I've ever wanted to do that. However, I do like I look at bolos like anyone else. I look at people's posts online. There are people like our friends Angie and Lisa, Angela and Lisa, Angelisa, we call them, another fun find on Instagram. They source the weirdest, strangest things that I have never heard of. And I follow them religiously because they're always posting brands that I've never heard of. I'm like, oh, that's a great brand.
Well,
I've never heard of.
especially I feel like when it comes to menswear, there's all these brands that like Richie Riches buy that us normies don't know anything about. Like, because there's like the luxury brands and the ones that are flashy, and then there's like the good quality but high value brands that the subtle rich people like to buy. Apparently, I'm like, I've never even heard of that in my life. I don't know what that is. Yeah, the biggest issue with like the whole YouTube thing is that
I'm never going to watch anybody on YouTube.
Well, the problem is, and Vicky's the same way, I cannot watch reselling content on YouTube and get anything done. I just can't. I can't. Like, so...
That and every single one of our friends is a YouTuber. It's not... It's like not even...
Well, regardless, even the stuff
that
I like, I don't watch because I can't get any work done. So, like, I listen to podcasts, but they're not reselling podcasts when I'm photographing. I watch TV, but nothing to do with reselling while I'm listing because I can kind of half tune it out. Anytime it's anything to do with reselling, I stop and I'm paying attention to that, and then my productivity goes down the drain. So it's really, really difficult to consume that kind of stuff. But we've been learning a lot in the Facebook group and seeing a lot of stuff and seeing brands there. So it's still getting in there.
Yeah, it definitely seeps in. I mean, for me, Facebook is just something that I consume in the middle of working or in the morning or at night. So I can actually, digest it in little bits because someone made a post about something. I do retain a lot of information. So if I only have to see it a couple of times and then I'm going to remember it. But most of my stuff is self-taught. And again, because of what I sell and how I sell, 95% of my items don't really have brands that are relevant. So a brand is not what I'm buying or selling. I'm buying a look.
I'd like to learn more about the brands and stuff, though, just because when you're at the bins, there's a lot of stuff that, like, probably gets missed because
I'm sure
I don't know what it is. And I definitely would like to be able to have a little broader base of knowledge to be able to pick that stuff up. So...
Well, it is 9:30 here, and I'm ready to go to bed. I don't know if I can.
You're not going to go to sleep. Like, I don't know in what world you think you're going to bed and going to sleep. You are going to be woken up 20 times.
Rude.
And I will be hanging out with the dogs until midnight because I know that Ripley and Luna get very nervous with all the noise and stuff. Grizz used to be great the last couple of years. She's been real nervous and shaky when there's explosions going on outside. So none of them like freak out, but they have high anxiety. And so I feel
we
bad.
just bring the dogs to bed with us and then I can go to bed.
That's I'm just saying you're a little bit delusional. Hey, I appreciate it. Edie and me, I appreciate it.
Yeah, Katie actually probably will look at something like that because like she said, she was wanting to learn more about menswear because her niche has just been vintage and t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff. So she doesn't know menswear brands really well either.
Well, I haven't had any interest in them.
Right.
But I have to expand on that if I want to be able to bring in the volume of the stuff I need and keep my costs low. And we're already, we're going to the bins all the time. So the stuff's there. It's just...
For sure. And we've got a couple of thrift trips that we're going to be planning. We definitely are doing our Texas trip coming up. I haven't figured out when we're going to do that yet, but now the holidays are over.
10 p.m. max.
See, thanks.
No.
Alexis has given me permission to go to bed. I've
listen,
had 2 glasses of champagne.
She's welcome to go to bed. My only point is that she is going to be woken up 500 times if she goes to sleep right now, and then she's going to be real mad about it. I was just going to like go downstairs and watch some TV with the dogs so that they're not like freaking out the whole time.
Old ladies do say what, man?
Yeah. And Vicky says, oh, we can bring the dogs upstairs. But what that entails is me alone carrying each dog one at a time up the stairs and then later on bringing them back downstairs. It's a lot. My legs can't take it. I'm old.
Apparently we need to move to Sun City in a single-story home.
No. It's just we have the hardwood floors and the stairs. The dogs can't like run up. It used to be once upon a time I could just let them run up the stairs.
And
instead,
they don't. No, they scrabble
they
and they fall.
They have to be hand carried Like the little furry divas that they are.
Oh, Maria.
How much did you cry today because Grizz got her haircut?
Not Grizz, Ripley.
Or Ripley got her haircut?
I cried.
How much?
Go get her. You can show everybody what they did to my baby.
She keeps saying that she's ugly. It's ridiculous. They trimmed her ears. Her ears were out of control. I'll go get her.
So all the dogs went to the groomer today because it was overdue. They needed cuts and baths and stuff. We bathe them at home, but we can't trim the dogs. They won't let us. But anyway, Ripley got a haircut today, and her ears were trimmed, and it made me cry. Okay, so those of you that have kids, if your kids are born with baby fine hair and they have these little curls when they're little and they're toddlers, and then the second you give them their first haircut and you cut those curls off, they're gone and they never come back. This is what I'm dealing with. We cut Ripley's hair, we cut her ears, or the groomer cut her ears today, and I think she looks dopey, and her ear fur is not going to come back, and it made me sad. So it made me cry.
She keeps saying that she's ugly. She's so rude. She's not ugly. She's beautiful.
She's not ugly, but her ears are short now.
Her ear hair was so long and ridiculous.
See, thank you, Alexis. It's absolutely right.
No, her ear hair was getting so long, and now she gets all nervous when I bring her up here.
I think she knows the camera. She doesn't like to look at it. And now she looks like she got the I'm going to talk to the manager haircut for a dog.
No. She's still adorable. And she's way cuter. Her ear hair, she was like a papillon with like this ridiculous long ear hair. Stupid.
Yeah, she's still cute, but her hair's short now.
Very, very cute. Oh, she's sniffing the microphone. I hope they heard the... Oh, you poor little baby.
She smells good, though.
Yeah, she's very nervous. She's shaking?
No.
No? Okay. Anyway. All right, guys. Yeah, she is very cute. Ever since she was a puppy, though, we've never really been able to get like her to like just look forward on with the camera because she's so silly and nervous and hides her face like a toddler, like a shy little toddler.
She's just one of the three, but she's the baby.
Yeah, the 2-year-old baby.
Mm-hmm. She's still a puppy.
Yeah. Anyway, still fireworks outside, just nonstop. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. Aw, Danica, we love you.
We love you, honey. This is going to be a good year for you coming forward.
Yep, today is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's got to mean something. Anyway, I say it's only up from here. 2024 is going to be awesome. I believe it.
I hope everybody has a good new year and go bang on some pots and open the front door. Burn some sage. Burn a candle. I don't know, whatever we're supposed to be doing, but...
Yeah. Did you want to come here? You're acting like you're trying to come near me.
No, she's not.
No?
She's
pot.
chilling.
She's just chilling.
She's just chilling. Anyway, Ripley says, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Val. Hope everybody has a good night. Everybody stay safe. You're already in, apparently, so I don't think anyone's heading out now, but if you are, be safe. Barry, if you're heading out to the crazy parts of Vegas, be safe, my friend.
Don't do it. Just say no. Say no and stay home.
We'll see you next Sunday. We had a couple haul videos that are going to come out this week, but we'll see you next Sunday.
Yep. We will.
Happy New Year.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.